Well, g'day. It's always a delight to be able to interview other thought leaders, and one of my favourite thought leaders in the area of innovation is Avish. Avish combines an incredible background of improv comedy and also his ability to take what people know and be able to apply it every day using very creative solutions. If your organization is going through any kind of change, or if you individually are going through it, this is a man who can help you. So welcome, Avish. It's really cool to have you here.
Hey, thanks, Neen. Appreciate it.
So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Can you define what you mean when it comes to innovation?
Yeah, my definition is really simple, and it is either just doing something new or doing something old in a new way. So I don't get into all the fancy schmancy, like has to be technology. It's just, look, if you're doing something that is different than what's been done before, to me, that's an innovation.
Okay, all right. So you have this approach where you use improv comedy to teach innovation. How does that work?
Well, it works in two ways. The first is kind of like a metaphor almost, because to me, improv comedy, using my definition of innovation, is essentially innovative the entire process, because all you're doing is creating new comedy material in the spot or on the spot in the moment. So in that way, it's a nice little tool to show people how they can tap into their own creativity. And then, beyond the metaphor, the same skills that let an improv comedian create comedy on the spot and create new material can be applied to the average professional in bringing innovation to their lives in terms of creativity and collaboration and moving things forward.
So what are a couple of ways that maybe people who are watching this could increase their innovation right now?
It's an interesting question because it can be improved right away. And the very first thing they can do is this idea of mindset. You know, to me, innovation, it's the next step beyond creativity. And we all start out so creative as children. I mean, just watch a kid play. They don't need anything. You know, I bought my niece and nephew presents for Christmas, and an hour later, they're just playing with the box. The problem is that it all kind of gets a little bit beat out of us as we grow older. Society makes us constantly watch what we say. So we start with that mindset. And the key mindset I like to talk about is this idea of saying yes and, which it's two words, yes and and. And what you'll find is, if you really think about it, people come from a yes but mentality.
What do you mean?
Well, when posed with something that's out of our comfort zone, the natural tendency is to say yes but. Like, maybe I should apply for this promotion. Yeah, but I'm not qualified. Or yeah, but I'm too busy as is. And it could be anything. It could be work. It could be personal development. It could be pursuing a hobby or asking someone out on a date. Like, whatever it is, if it's uncomfortable, the yes but mentality is the default. I teach in Improv a principle about saying yes and, which is, instead of yeah but they're not going to hire me for that promotion, it's like yes and let's give it a try. Yes and let's see how I can do it. Right. So it opens you up to possibility. Now, the reason that's important is the comfort zone. Almost by definition, your innovation is going to come outside of your comfort zone. Because if it was in your comfort zone, you'd already be doing it.
Oh, okay.
So it's just starting to catch yourself saying and thinking and acting in ways that are yes but, and then stepping back and saying, well, how can I say yes and here? How can I move forward instead of back? So that's the very first thing I would recommend everyone do to be more innovative. It's so simple. Just start paying attention to the yes buts in your life and start seeing how you can switch those to yes and.
Cool.
And if I can share one more quick one.
Yeah.
It's about action. If you notice my definition of innovation, use the word doing. Doing something new or doing something old in a new way. It's not thinking of something new or analyzing something new. And the problem is, when we think of innovation, we think of giant technological breakthroughs. But with my definition, innovation is just a simple change. And it doesn't need to be giant. So it's taking one step. You don't have to have it all figured out. So for example, using, some people want to start a new business, and running out and quitting their job and mortgaging their house and investing $100,000 is how we think we need to approach it. Right. A much better way is to take one step. Say you want to be a professional speaker. Well, go give a speech. Right. See if you like it. Or if you want to be a baker, spend a day or a week volunteering with a baker. Right. You might hate it. Or you may discover something. You may discover that, well, I don't really like the baking, but I love running the business, or vice versa. too often we try to have it all plotted out before we take the first step. And in improv, what I teach when I teach performers is one step. Take one step, see what happens, and then you're going to adjust your next step based on the result. So what happens is step by step you innovate, and you may end up in a completely different place than you started, and it's going to be a better place. So think in terms of yes and then just take one step and see what happens.
It seems to me like you're making it really easy. People think innovation is this big thing, but you've made it really practical with those two ideas. People can apply them immediately.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like too many people, and I fall into this. We all fall into this, the whole, the cliched analysis paralysis. We overthink things so much, and you'll learn more and make farther progress by taking a step and seeing what happens than you ever will trying to figure the whole thing out in advance.
What about people who want to bring more of this innovation into their job or their own business? What tips would you have for them?
Well, I'll give you three quick ones. Number one is try to create what I call an innovation playground, which is if you think about a playground, there's a structure to it. Like kids get very specific about the rules of the playground, but they're all there to have fun. Failure is okay. And it's just about letting your creativity flow. Now, you don't need to turn your entire office or business into this crazy, nonsensical playground. It could just be, hey, when we have this meeting, this is like playground zone, throw out your ideas. If you fail, it's okay. If you say something stupid. So make it safe, because that's where your creative power is going to come from, is that sense of play.
Right.
Number two is what I call raising the bar. And that means that too often we're limited by our current sense of what is possible. And I know this sounds very like motivational speakery, but that's okay because that's kind of one of the things I do. But it's setting the bar higher for yourself. We're too content to look at what others are doing and then look at our limitations and say, well, here's what I can do. And I'm not one of these people that says anyone can do everything. Right. But I think you're better off setting a higher bar for yourself and then trying to figure out how can I get there. And we saw a great speaker a few weeks ago at a convention talk about write music you can't play.
Wow.
And then figure out how to play it. And that's kind of what I mean about raising the bar. It's don't settle. Because, again, innovation is doing something new or doing something old in a new way.
Right.
If you do what you currently believe is possible, you're not going to do something new. You're just going to continue on your path. Yeah. Raising the bar when you're not sure how to do it forces the creativity and innovation. So that's... Right. And the third quick one is to be present. And just notice. Some of your best innovations are going to come not from getting 10 executives in a boardroom, but from getting all of your people to simply notice what's going on around them. Like Toyota did this years ago when they allowed workers to stop the line, the frontline workers. So frontline workers started noticing if there's a defect, if there's a problem, if there's a better way of doing a process. Like, your whole thing about productivity and being more effective.
Right.
If you just notice what's inefficient right now, you do something new, that's an innovation that fixes the productivity problem. You notice what your customers are complaining about instead of having this fixed process in your mind for how to serve them. So by being present and really noticing things, you open your mind to seeing moments for innovation.
That's really cool. Avish, I know there's going to be people who are watching this who are probably going to want to get in contact with you and reach out. I know you've got a fabulous blog. You also speak for organizations and help them to become more innovative. How can people get in contact with you, and what kind of resources do you have available to them?
Sure. Well, the best way to get a hold of me is to go to my website, which is dinghappens.com, dinghappens.com. And if viewers are wondering what that is, well, go over to the website and watch the video, and you'll understand it very quickly. But it's how I blend improv and innovation and creativity all together. There's a free blog. There's a few other free white papers and things you can download. There's a bunch of video clips. And beyond that, I have resources. I have 2 books. One is called Say Yes And. It's just on that one single idea. Thank you. And the other is Improvise to Success, which is a little more general about applying improv to business and life. So go to Ding Happens, check things out. And yeah, shoot me a line. I'd love to chat.
That's fantastic. Well, I've read your book and I loved it. And I know one of my clients thoroughly enjoyed it as well, and was really keen to have you partner with their organization too. So I can highly recommend you. I've seen you on stage. I've seen the way that the audience responds to you. I've read your books and your blog is great. So thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate everything that you shared on innovation.
Awesome. Thank you, Neen.